Hi everybody, how are you today? This is Trish, the Purple Yarnivore. I am finally sitting down to make this cardigan for you, teach you how to make it too. You'd be surprised how easy this pattern is. And it's so customizable, so completely customizable. Now, I know it's taken me a little bit to get this pattern out, like, I don't know, 8 days or something. But I told myself that I was going to learn some editing. And you know what? I spent a week trying to edit my video and make it all cool and everything. And you know what? It sucks. To be honest, it sucked. And I said, forget this. I really need to get this tutorial out. People are waiting for it. And yeah, I could always do more editing in some of my other videos. And the more practice I get, the better off everything, the better off my videos will be, put it this way. And I'm like, okay, I'm just going to start again. I don't know what happened to the original video I was editing, but my editing was like so chopped up and like off sync, and I'm like, I'm just going to completely redo this video because it wasn't that long to begin with. I guess, that's part of learning. You make mistakes, you have to scrap out the last video and then start all over again. So here I am. So this cardigan, you know what? I'm just going to call it the Cross My Heart cardigan because it's more cross stitches than anything else. And I really like doing the cross stitches because it kind of almost gives it like a lacy look. So I want to tell you the yarn I used is this Touch of Mohair yarn. And this is a Lion Brand product. Each skein is 339 yards or 310 meters. It's a lightweight number 3, and it feels pretty nice. It's a very fuzzy yarn, and it's pretty soft, not real woolly, not real itchy. And this cardigan I'm using this burnt orange, this pink color, which I lost the label, so I'm sorry if I don't remember the name of that one. I'm using this tan color called Light Taupe, and I have to include the Purple Haze. So these are the 4 colors that I started my cardigan with. I really put off sewing my cardigan together, but I just kind of randomly put these colors together on my cardigan. No rhyme or reason for it. I just wanted to, incorporate all these colors. I wouldn't normally put these colors together. Maybe these 3 colors, but throwing in this orange was like, you know what? That's kind of weird. And let me tell you, I was kind of working on this cardigan while I was at work. And I had, a lot of female customers commenting about, what are you making? I love all those colors together. And I'm like, yeah, I guess maybe the orange wasn't such a bad color to incorporate in there. But we kind of have to extend outside our comfort zone when it comes to color, and just what the heck, just put it together. And look, it turned out great. So what you're looking at here is my back panel. Now I'm a size 2X. So when I started this, I started with 80 stitches plus 2. This is so simple. Literally, to get your size, all I did was chain 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 till I got 80 stitches. I held the 80 stitches up to me and made sure that the chain went around me to meet each side of me. Okay, right about the middle of my sides. And then I chained plus 2 after that. I made sure it was an even chain, and then I chained plus 2. So let's get started, shall we? Because I'm really excited to show you how to do this. Now I'm just going to do a sample really, because I got my front and back panels done. And we'll be sewing that up. I'm going to break this up into 2 tutorials so that you're not sitting there watching an hour-long tutorial. And it'll get you a chance to get the front and back panels done before my next video. And then we'll work on the like the ribbing around the edges and the sleeves and sewing it all together. So anyway, let's get started. So we're doing chains of 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and you'll want to make sure you're chaining these pretty loosely. Let me see if I can just bring this down a bit so you can get a closer look. Okay, so 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. How many chains do we have here? We have 4, 8, 10, 14, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay, so I'm going to do 20 chains. Okay, and like I said, this is just going to be a sample because this is really geared to your size and you know how it's going to fit you the way you want it to fit you. So let's pretend that this ball of yarn is a body. Okay. So what you want to do is measure the chain from the middle of one side of you or the person you're making it for to the middle of the other side. And so that would be about right for this small yarn body. Okay, and then I'm going to chain 2 more so that I have a total of 22. Okay, now I want to maintain that 20 count. So I chained an extra 2, right? 1, 2. I have my thumb on the 20th chain. Well, we want to do a double crochet in the 4th chain from the hook. So we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we're going to double crochet in the 4th chain for the hook. Now, how I remember this is you have 1 and you have 2, okay? So immediately you're starting off with 2 chains. So we have 2, double crochet all the stitches across, so 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Oh, I did push the, okay. You know what? For a second there, like, I know you're like hearing like, what is she saying? For a second there, I thought I did not push the record button and I've been talking to myself this whole time. You know, it's late at night. I finally got my daughter to bed. I said, you know what? I'm going to redo this tutorial. I am not with it either. So I lost my count. You know what? I'm just going to finish this row. Oh my goodness. Is she all there? No, no, I am not. Okay. I did hit the record button. You are watching me wonder if I hit the record button. Well, It is what it is, because honestly, I've tried to cut certain parts out of my video and I have not been successful. I just end up screwing it up even more, honestly. I know I should take like some sort of college course on this. Okay, so let's count because I threw my own self off on my stitch count. So we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to chain 1. We are going to turn our work. We are going to double crochet in the first stitch. Okay, now here's the fun part. Here's the fun part. We are going to skip this next stitch and we are going to double crochet in the next one. So we are going to double crochet. Okay, and here you have options. Okay, in this cardigan, what I did was what you're going to do is you're going to double crochet back into this skip stitch. Now, there's 2 ways that you can do this. You can yarn over and go in from the front, which I know this is not going to show, but you can go in from the front of the stitch like this. Yarn over, bring it around that other stitch and double crochet so that it kind of looks like that. Or you can yarn over, kind of bring it back behind this stitch, find that missing stitch, and double crochet so that it looks like this. And you're going to do this all the way across. You are going to skip the next stitch, okay, and then double crochet in this stitch. And when I do this, I'm just going to go in from the back. So if it makes it easier too, when you go behind this double crochet, you can always flip your work over and find that missing stitch, okay? So here's a stitch here. You can turn it over and then just go into like this, that stitch, skip the next stitch, do your cross stitch, do this other stitch into that skip stitch, and you're going to do this all the way across. Skip this stitch, double crochet into the next, go back from front or from the back, double crochet into this missed stitch, and we're going to do this all the way across, okay, until we get to the very last stitch. Now keep in mind, this turning chain here is don't forget this turning chain. This is going to be our final stitch. So just wait until you get to this one. These last 2 should be a cross stitch. And you know what, since I'm just doing a sample here, I'll just let you hang with me until I finish this row. So I'm just going to finish cross stitching down this row. Pull out more yarn. skip a stitch, double crochet in the next. Go back and double crochet in the skip stitch. Okay, and we have 3 stitches left. So we're gonna skip this last stitch here. Or not the last stitch, but this is gonna be the last cross stitch of the row. So you're gonna skip this one, go into this one. If my yarn doesn't want to bounce off the hook. And then you're going to find the top of this turning chain here. Okay, and you're just going to double crochet into it. You know, it's kind of like any other turning chain. A little challenging at first, but okay, so this is what the row looks like. Okay, I know it's hard to see with all the mohair, but you have the double crochet row, and then you have your your row of double crochets. Now, what I did with my sweater, okay, when I did this, I did 2 rows of the double crochet, okay? So I'm just basically showing you the stitches. So I did 2 rows of the double crochet. So let me correct myself there because I was so gung-ho to get to the cross stitch row that I forgot to do my second row of double crochets. So you do your initial row into your chain of double crochets, then you'll do a second row of the double crochet row, and then you'll do the row of your cross stitches, okay? Now, at the end of the row, you're going to want to chain 1 and turn your work. And this row is going to be just like this cross stitch row. You're going to do the cross stitch row 4 times. So there's going to be 2 rows of just double crochets and 4 rows of cross stitches. So let's show you how to do a row of cross stitches when you already have cross stitches, okay? So you're going to double crochet there into the first stitch. Okay, you're still going to skip a stitch and go into the next stitch. Okay, so you're going to double crochet into the next stitch, and then you're going to double crochet back into that skip stitch. Okay, skip a stitch and then go into the next stitch. And once you actually start doing it, it's so easy, you know, and it's just a really nice repeat that puts out a really nice pattern. Skip a stitch, go into the next one, and running out of yarn again. I prefer to pull from the center of the ball, but with this particular yarn, it's actually it sticks to itself a little bit, so it's best just to pull from the outer part. But I'm more of a center pull kind of person. So skip a stitch, go back from behind the stitch that you just did and do a double crochet into the skip stitch. Double crochet, skip a stitch and double crochet, and then go back behind that stitch that you just made and go into that skip stitch and double crochet. And you do this all the way across until the last stitch, okay? And in that last stitch, you will just simply double crochet. It kind of, you know, it kind of reminds me of putting a frame on on your work, you know, like a wall on each side. And I am just not the best at staying in frame tonight. This is so easy, and it turns out so beautifully too. I really love this cardigan. Okay, so now you're about down to your last stitch. You're just simply going to put a double crochet into it. It's that simple. And then you're going to chain one. Turn your work and do 2 more rows of this cross stitch pattern. Now, I want to tell you that even though I'm using a 3-weight yarn, this mohair, the thing is you can use any yarn for this, because you're just doing multiples of 2, 2, 2, and you're going by your own size. So, you know, I want you, I don't want to be super detailed other than the stitches, because I want you to find that creativity inside you and to complete your own masterpiece, your own work of art. So it's very simple, and I'll just remind you again that you're going to do your chains, okay? You're going to measure the first chain around from one side to the other side of you, okay? And make sure that it's a multiple of 2. Then if you want to keep that stitch count, the multiple that you have after you've measured around, making sure that it's in the 2 plus 2 plus 2, then you add 2 chains onto it, and you double crochet in the 4th chain from the hook. You do 2 rows of double crochet and 4 rows of the cross stitch. So let me show you on this, because I was showing you the cardigan, but I wasn't showing you specifically the stitches. But you see how the first row I did 2 double crochet, 1, 2, 3, 4 of the cross stitches, 2 double crochets, 4 cross stitches. And look how this turns out. Now I don't have a lot of space here, but look how beautiful that turns out. Now this is a perfect cardigan to like if you're going to work or you're going to be indoors. Because of the cross stitches, there's going to be a lot of you know, it's not a solid stitch, so you know, you got all these little holes in it, so it's not going to keep you warm outside unless you're just trying to add to your warmth, like you're wearing a t-shirt underneath and you put the cardigan on and then you put your coat on. But this is a great indoor cardigan to keep you warm, or just for, you know, fashion purposes. But look at it, 2 double crochets, 4 cross stitch rows, 2 double crochets, and you can do this in a solid colored yarn, or you could do this in, you know, you could change up the colors. The masterpiece is up to you and what paints and everything that you decide to use for this. So you can also, okay, if you use a 4-weight yarn, you probably won't have to do as many chains. Like I said, this is a 3-weight yarn. But you know, I think I did like 58 rows because I wanted this to be a longer cardigan that kind of went down to the middle of my thigh, maybe even close to my knee. Or you can make it shorter if you want. This is just totally so adjustable. So this is a stitch pattern. Like I said, I'm a 2X. My back panel, I did 80 stitches with a 3-weight yarn, and then I added 2 and double crocheted into the 4th hook. Now, you're going to do 2 front panels. It's going to be exactly the same, okay? Except for one thing, and that is the stitch count, okay? So let's look at this. I'm going to move this yarn out of the way. So, okay, so you have your back panel. Now, usually when you make a cardigan, you take this count from the back panel. Like I said, mine was 80, and you would just kind of divide that in half and make each front panel 40. Well, this is what I did, and you could do this with yours too. Because I'm going to be putting an edging, you know, like a ribbed edging around the edge of the cardigan all the way around, I want to have that extra space to do that. So instead of doing 40 stitches, okay, I did 36 and then added 2. So a total of 38 double crochet into the 4th chain from the hook. And I did the front panels exactly as I did the back panels, okay? But instead of doing the 40, I did the 36. So if you do 60 for the back panel, normally you would cut that in half and do 30 for each panel, but you could cut that back further and do 26, because those 4 stitches that you would be missing is going to be your ribbing, okay? And when you do your ribbing, you're not just going to make up for the 4 stitches, but you're also going to be adding more stitches onto that. So when I do the ribbing, okay, which I'll be crocheting onto it as I go, I'll probably chain 9, single crochet into the 8th chain, and single crochet, but I'll show you that later, no worries. So you divide the chains from your back panel in half, and then you take off 4 chains from that. And you do 2 panels like that, exactly the same as the back panel with the exact same amount of rows. So I have my 3 panels here, my back panel and my 2 front panels, okay? So I'm just going to show that to you. So you see this side, okay? Well, let's bring this over. Okay, and so you're like, oh my goodness, there's a gap here. What's going on? I don't know why. I don't know why there's a gap. It's going to come out all messed up. But keep in mind, you're going to have ribbing that comes out here, ribbing that comes out here, and they're going to overlap, okay? And this way also, when you make your neck hole, you don't have to leave flaps open. You know, you can sew them directly on from edge to edge, okay? All right, so you do your back panels and your front panels. I have a lot of ends to sew in. That's okay, because in part 2 of this video, in part 2, I'm going to show you how to sew these together, and then we are going to do some arm sleeves, and we're going to do the ribbon. Anyway, have fun with your back and front panels. I hope this video was not too confusing. If you have any questions, there is a wide open commenting section below in this video. And I'm more than happy to answer any questions that I understand. But I just love this pattern so much. It's such a beautiful nice indoor cardigan that you can wear with, you know, anything underneath it. And I wish you the best of luck. Please enjoy your masterpiece. Be creative. This is all yours, and you can do this. Anyway, we'll see you in part 2 of this video. See you later. Bye.